going on, everybody? Steve V here with another video, and in today's video I got Pac-Man fever and I'm going out of my mind. Today I'm going to be ranking every 3/4 scale Pac-Man and Miss Pacman cabinet that's ever come out from Arcade1Up. Now, there was a lot of Pac-Man and Miss Pacman cabinets to put on this list. I got it down to about 10. And that is literally counting every cabinet that they've done. There was just a couple SKUs where maybe one game was different, so I just kind of put that in with the appropriate title, but I will mention that there was multiple SKUs of that particular cabinet. But yeah, 10 cabinets that are strictly Pac-Man or Miss Pacman cabinets. That's pretty crazy. But Pac-Man and Miss Pacman is their best seller, so I am not surprised that there was that many cabinets to choose from. I'm going to start at number 10, which in my opinion is the least appealing Pac-Man cabinet or Miss Pacman cabinet, and then work my way to number 1. But I'm going to have a little help from my wife, my Miss Pacman. Say hello, wifey V.
Hey guys.
So she's going to help me with the countdown. She's going to let you know what the title is and what number it's at, and then I'll kind of talk about the title a little bit. Let you know what is entailed with that particular cabinet and why I kind of put it at that particular spot. So we'll start with number 10. I hope you guys enjoy this countdown, and here we go.
Number 10 is Generation 1 Pac-Man.
So the reason the Gen 1 Pac-Man comes in at number 10 is because it's the oldest cab out of all these Pac-Man cabinets. Now, with hindsight being 2020 and all these other cabinets to compare it to, of course, it seems like the least appealing cabinet to have at this moment if you have a Pac-Man cabinet. But at the time it came out in 2018, that thing was money. A 3/4 scale Pac-Man cabinet with the original Pac-Man side art. It had 2 solid games, Pac-Man and Pac-Man Plus. It didn't come with a riser, unfortunately, and it didn't come with a light-up marquee. But none of them did at that time. Same with the cookie cutter shape that the cabinet had. That was the same shape that every cabinet had. But now, like I said, comparing it to all the other cabinets, all the other Pac-Man cabinets completely blow this one away. But it was a good starting point. It didn't come with a riser. It didn't come with a light-up marquee, unfortunately. But there was 2 SKUs of this cabinet that came out maybe a year later where they kind of upgraded this cabinet. The first one had a light-up marquee, a riser, and a stool. So, you know, a great upgrade. And then the second one, I think it was an HSN exclusive, but this original Gen 1 cabinet did not have a light-up marquee or a riser, and it only had the 2 games. So that's kind of why I have to put this cabinet at number 10.
Number 9, 40th Anniversary Edition Pac-Man.
So the 40th Anniversary Pac-Man cabinet was an upgraded version of the original cabinet. Basically, everything that Arcade1Up kind of heard from their customers of what they wanted. You know, they wanted that light-up marquee. They wanted that riser. They finally gave us that. They went a little different with the side art. Instead of the traditional yellow, they did the wood grain look, which was kind of paying a nod to the cabaret cabinets. And I thought that was a good addition to that cabinet. It came with 7 games instead of 2, 6 Pac-Man variants, and Galaga. And Galaga was a great addition to that Pac-Man cabinet. There was another SKU for this cabinet that also had the light-up control deck and a stool. So that was a great addition as well. So with this cabinet, it basically was hitting on all cylinders at that time, except for one thing. It had pixel filtering that you could not take off. So when you were playing Pac-Man, it almost looked like it was almost smudged out. It looked like somebody had took Vaseline and rubbed it on the screen. So that was the only negative with this cabinet. But other than that, it was a very solid cabinet and one of my favorite Pac-Man cabinets that I owned.
At number 8, the 40th Anniversary Edition Miss Pacman.
So the 40th Anniversary Miss Pacman cabinet is a great cabinet, and that's why I put it at number 8, but there are some flaws. The positive of that cabinet is it has 10 solid games on it. But the only negative with this one is it doesn't come with a light up marquee or a riser. I understand Arcade1Up was just trying to make a cheaper alternative for people to buy, but I see the people that are buying it, and they're kind of going out of their way to get the third-party light-up marquee and the risers. So I do feel like it was a bit of a miss not adding that option, but I get what they were doing. They were trying to come in a little cheaper, so I do understand. But it's a great cabinet. It has a beautiful decal at the front. So, they didn't add the game list, which I think is a huge plus. I'm glad that they're starting to put decals or the sticker coin doors or the full coin doors. I feel that's a lot more appealing. And just a great option if you want a Miss Pacman cabinet, but you just have to go out of your way for a riser or light up marquee if you want that on your cabinet.
Number 7, Ms. Pacman.
So the original Miss Pacman cabinet comes in at number 7. And with the original Miss Pacman cabinet, it blew me away when I saw Arcade1Up announce this cabinet, because I didn't think they were going to be able to do it. I thought there was kind of some legal stuff keeping them from pursuing the Miss Pacman cabinet, but they proved me wrong and they made it happen. This cabinet's a great cabinet, beautiful side art, beautiful light up marquee and custom riser. It came with 4 games, but there was 2 different SKUs, and the games were slightly changed on both SKUs, but obviously Ms. Pacman was on both games since it is a Ms. Pacman cabinet, and that's what we were buying that cabinet for. It was a terrific cabinet, and I was so glad when I was finally able to get Ms. Pacman in the mix, though I did upgrade to the class of 81 later on, but that Ms. Pacman cabinet was a beauty, and really glad that Arcade1Up was able to make it happen.
Number 6, HSN Miss Pacman.
So the Ms. Pacman HSN cabinet was a terrific cabinet. It had that classic side art, the light up marquee, the custom riser, but this one also came with a light up J panel, which we had never seen Arcade1Up do before. It was a really neat idea, definitely an acquired look, but on the right cabinet, it does really pop. And on that one, it was a cool little addition. It came with 4 games. It also was, in the States, it was an HSN exclusive, but here in Canada, that was our most popular Ms. Pacman SKU as far as what was available through the retailers. If you wanted to get Ms. Pacman from the Brick, Best Buy, Walmart, that was the SKU you were going to pick up here. Only London Drugs was the only place selling the non-light-up J-panel SKU. But here in Canada, that was our main SKU. So a lot of Canadians that have Ms. Pacman, this is what they have. But in the States, an HSN exclusive, and it was a beautiful cabinet. And again, with Ms. Pacman, you can't go wrong. That artwork is just fantastic.
Coming in at number 5, HSN Pacman Plus.
So yes, coming in at number 5 is the Pacman Plus HSN cabinet. Now the reason I put this in at number 5 is because it had a solid game list. It had 8 great games. It had a Pacman Plus marquee, but the rest of it looked like a traditional Pacman cabinet. And the reason that is because that is what they used to do in the arcades. Pacman Plus was a conversion cabinet. So basically they would take your traditional Pacman cabinet, just switch out the marquee, and they would just put a new PCB in there to play Pacman Plus. So it was really cool that Arcade1Up kind of paid a nod to the tradition of having that game in a cabinet like that. Also, it had the custom light up J panel as well, just like the Ms. Pacman HSN cabinet. So it was a cool idea, especially if you wanted to have both those cabinets. I mean, having those 2 cabinets together would have looked really nice. And then they also made the kick plate yellow with the game names on it, which was pretty rare at that time. Most of the time, they always kept the kick plates black. So it was a cool addition, making it yellow, so it blended with the cabinet more. Terrific cabinet, but we didn't get this one here in Canada for whatever reason. But the cabinet was a solid cabinet, specifically because of the games.
Number 4, Super Pacman.
So the Super Pacman cabinet was a great cabinet. It had 7 solid Namco titles, a lot of the main hits when it comes to Namco. It was a Costco exclusive. You guys got it in the States last year, but we just got it in Canada this year. You're able to pick it up at Costco right now as we speak. It was a solid cabinet. I mean, this was the Pacman cabinet to get, in my opinion, before the Bandai Namco Legacy cabinet came out, because it had the most solid game list. It also did something a little different than what Arcade1Up was traditionally doing with their Pacman cabinets at that time. With their Pacman cabinets at that time, they were just sticking to the traditional Pacman artwork. And maybe they would do some slight changes, but they really kept to just that specific artwork. This was the first time where they did a whole different Pacman cabinet by doing the Super Pacman artwork, that blue artwork with the yellow. The only thing was, where they kind of dropped the ball, was they didn't do the proper form factor. They just did their traditional Namco form factor that they've been using for all their Namco cabinets. But with Super Pacman, where he is on the side art, his mouth is usually cut out. You got an open triangle where his mouth is open. And they didn't do that with that form factor, which I think is a little bit of a miss, but I'm sure they will do it at some point. But yeah, it was a great cabinet. Another thing that was a little bit of a letdown, but they fixed it, thank God, was they had the fire button on the wrong side when it came to playing Galaga. But with a firmware update, they fixed that, so now you can play it properly. I'm assuming all the newer cabinets that are being sold now, that firmware update is already done. But that was a little bit of a miss as well, but they got that fixed pretty quickly. So solid cabinet, and that's why I put it at number 4.
Number 3, Bandai Namco Legacy.
So the Bandai Namco Legacy Edition cabinet was something I definitely knew I wanted to pick up. When I saw that they were doing these legacy cabinets and basically taking the original Gen 1 concept and doing it the proper way with 12 games, I knew that was the cabinet for me when it came to Pac-Man. So many great games. It has the original Pac-Man artwork with the form factor, which we all wanted. It has some options for the games, which is a nice touch because obviously the older cabinets did not have that. And it had the sticker coin door, which was the first time with these legacy cabinets. It was the first time we seen Arcade1Up get away from putting the game logos on the kick plate and making it look a little more like a traditional cabinet. Now we see that they're doing the molded coin doors, which is taking it that extra level. But at the time, with the sticker coin door being new and being the first time we had seen that, it looked solid. And I knew that was a great cabinet to get, and that's why I picked it up, and that's why I put it at number 3.
Number 2, Pacmania Bandai Namco Legacy.
So yes, the Pacmania Bandai Namco Legacy Cab is at number 2. And the reason it's at number 2 is because they took what they did with the original Pac-Man Bandai Namco Legacy Cab and they took it up a notch. So obviously with the original Bandai Namco Legacy, 12 games, light out marquee, custom riser, they did all that, but then they added 2 games. So now you got 14 games. They did a Pacmania artwork and form factor and made it look legit to the way that actual cabinet looks. They added Wi-Fi, so now you got leaderboards with those games, and they got a full coin door instead of the sticker coin door. So they took everything they did with the original cabinet and just brought it up a notch. So that's why I had to put it at number 2. It's not even out yet, but I know it is definitely a solid cabinet that is probably going to sell really well. I mean, it's Pac-Man, so of course it's going to sell well. But again, taking everything they did with the original Bandai Namco Legacy cabinet and really just turn the volume up. A great move by Arcade1Up and a solid cab that comes in at number 2.
Coming in at number 1, Class of 1981.
Yeah.
Woo!
So coming in at number 1 is the Class of 1981, the half Ms. Pacman, half Galaga cabinet. And the reason I put this cabinet at number 1 is because in my opinion, it's the best presentation of a Ms. Pacman / Pacman cabinet that Arcade1Up has come out with to this point. It's got 12 solid Namco games. Probably the best list of Namco games that they've put on any Pacman / Ms. Pacman cabinet. It's got Wi-Fi, so it has the ability of leaderboards for all the games. Now with these games, they're all score chasers. So when you have the leaderboards, it just gives you more incentive to play that cabinet because you're trying to chase those high scores. That's what those games are about. And you're seeing everyone else's high scores that also own the cabinet. So it makes you just want to play the cabinet more. It's got that beautiful half and half artwork, half Ms. Pacman, half Galaga, and then kind of the two artworks kind of combining in the middle. That really pays tribute to the original Class of 81 cabinet. With the game list, it would have been nice if they could throw Pac-Man on there because the original Class of 81 did have Pac-Man on it as a secret game, but I get why they couldn't do it, for licensing reasons. So their hands were tied. So I'm not going to take a point away from this cabinet for that reason because there was no other choice in the matter. They couldn't put Pac-Man on it, but that would have brought this cabinet from a 10 to an 11. But the game list, like I said, is the most solid Namco game list on any cabinet, in my opinion. The marquee is beautiful. I know a lot of people were switching it out, but my marquee actually came looking pretty good. The camera phone doesn't do it justice, but it actually looks very nice. The riser was a simple riser when it came to the art. But the reason they went simple is because they didn't want to take away from the beauty of what's going on the top of the cabinet because there's a lot of busyness going on. So they wanted to keep it simple. So yeah, this cabinet, in my opinion, is number one when it comes to Ms. Pacman and Pacman 3/4 scale cabinets. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed doing this ranking of all the 3/4 scale Pacman and Ms. Pacman cabinets. Ms. Pacman and Pacman are my two favorite games. And it was really interesting to see how many cabinets Arcade1Up has come out with when it came to those two games. A lot, but it's their best-selling game, both those games. So it makes sense, and it's the title that everybody knows. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a fantastic day.